Cheryl, and this is my channel, Star Garden at Stitchery. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're new, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy content, and I hope that you stick around. This channel is about cross stitch, and it's also about wool applique and quilting, and I also talk about books sometimes as well. So today, as I always say, it's a mixed bag. And I have, since it's been like, what's today? Today is August 23rd, 2025. And the last time I was with you guys, let me check my book of days, was about a month ago. It was the 26th. So this is July. And then, yeah, so it's been about a month. On the calendar, it's a month, but like if you count weeks and number of days and, you know. Anyways, so I have a lot. I have been busy. I have been busy doing lots of things, including things that are not cross stitch or quilting or any of that. So I'll kind of talk about that when I get through my whips and things. But like, there's some changes in my house, basically. Physical changes to the house have happened. So I'll even maybe share some photos of those changes, because to me it's drastic. But in a good way. Also, if you hear dog noises, like a bark or chewing noises or anything like that, my dog's here. It's just me and the puppy today. My husband is with the boys at the baseball field because fall baseball is literally right around the corner. So yeah, it's about to get a little busy for a little while. But okay, so let's get into the whips first. I kind of have a few different types of whips. The one that I'm going to show you first is actually for a friend, meaning that she had asked me to make this quilt for her, and I said, of course, because she's my friend, right? I'm not really doing like commission work right now, for the most part, just because I don't really have time, which I'll get into when I talk about the home update thing. But like, because of the less time availability, I'm not able to quilt for others right now. I'm not able to really make quilts for other people right now. But because I'm technically in my summer break, even though a lot of people have already gone back to school, we have not started homeschool yet. I'm still able to fit in a little bit of commission work that I had promised before I said I wasn't going to be doing any more commission work. So I need to get that done, right? Because, you know, I promised her and everything. So plus I want to do it. It's really pretty. So I'll just show that to you now. So this is for my friend Michelle, and she has two Instagrams, but her cross stitch Instagram is Moonbind Stitch. And she wanted a quilt for her bed, so I am making this quilt for her. It's called Prairie Patchwork by Modern Prairie for Riley Blake. And the picture looks like bleh, right? It's kind of boring. If I can remember, I'll put in a better photo of what the quilt looks like, and I'm going to show you some of the piecing because I fully finished cutting it out, because this quilt is large. It is 81 by 102, so it's pretty big. So it took a little while to cut it out, because I'm cutting out two giant quilts right now. I was cutting out this one, and I was cutting out my personal quilt that I'm doing, the Jane Austen 250th anniversary quilt, which I'll show you my progress on that shortly. And my puppy is wondering who I'm talking to. Yes. Okay, so I've currently been making all the 4 patches. Sorry. I have the 4 patches done, which are the 4 patches that are in between the big blocks. So I have all of those done. I have to still press them fully, but the fabrics are so pretty. This was the first fabric line by Melissa Gilbert. If you've ever watched Little House on the Prairie, she played Laura Ingalls. Which, okay, funny story. I'm in my 40s. So if you do math, you can figure out approximately when I was born. And I, up until 2 or 3 weeks ago, had never watched Little House on the Prairie. I know. I maybe have caught like part of an episode or something like that, but it just was not something I watched as a kid. I was more of like the Goofy Movie or Ghostbusters or like Gem and the Stagers, like whatever that show was. I mean, Disney Channel, like that kind of stuff is what I watched. And I watched a lot of movies like Beauty and the Beast and Lion King and, you know, like Little Mermaid, stuff like that. Like that's the kind of stuff I watched as a little kid. I didn't watch Little House on the Prairie because it just wasn't in my mind space to watch it. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was more into cartoons. I love cartoons still. Clearly, I am a child at heart. I love kid things. I think that it's dumb to have to grow out of things, but anyways, I digress. So I have been watching, like binge watching, it's on Prime. I've been watching Little House on the Prairie. That show is amazing. There's a reason why that show is beloved by so many people, and there's a reason why it won so many awards, because it's a great show. And can I just say that Michael Landon is an amazing pa? Like, I watched him on like, oh, you know what show I really liked as a kid? Matlock. I don't know. Apparently someone rolled by, so now the dog's like, oh, what's going on? Who's out there? So anyways, while I was cutting out this quilt, which is designed by Melissa Gilbert, which is Laura, right? I was like, oh, let's just watch it. Let's watch an episode and see what happens. Sucked me in. It sucked me in, and I'm like, I get it now. I get it. And so it's been my little companion while I'm making that quilt. Isn't that fun? Okay, let's see what's next. Let's do a cross stitch. What's in here? I don't remember. I grabbed bags knowing I have things in certain spots so I know that I worked on it, kind of thing. Oh yeah, okay. So, as I have mentioned before, I am part of Sampler Guild of the Rockies. And, so what I'm going to show you, it is currently not available unless you paid to attend the Stitch Day, either in person or by Zoom, which has already occurred, and you can no longer get it. Even if you're a member of the guild and you didn't pay to do it, you can't get this chart. So I'm apologizing in advance. However, I'm going to just say that nearly every single thing that has ever been released through Sampler Guild of the Rockies has eventually been released to the public. However, this is a Blackbird Designs chart, so I cannot promise anything that it will be released. We don't know what Alma's going to do or what she's going to authorize, okay? So I'm going to just preface that now. So don't hate me if you can't get this. Maybe someone will destash it in the future. I don't know. I don't get rid of my Blackbird design charts, so I'm not going to be getting rid of mine. Okay, first thing, let me take out the cover because it's all plasticky. So it was a Stitch Day through the guild where you could attend via Zoom, and if you're not local, or you could attend in person. This is the chart called Awaiting Autumn. I wanted to start it immediately. I don't have all the colors, but I pulled things I had from Stash. The other thing that I lost my note of who gave this to us. I feel like I should know this. Socks for Mom, pretty sure. Socks for Mom she's part of the guild as well, and she, as a gift, gave all of us who purchased a spot one of these scissor fobs. And isn't that so fitting, because like this is from the Garden Club series and I wanted to start those soon. So look at that, isn't it so pretty? So it came in this pretty paper in this cute little bag, and it was tucked in inside the chart. So anyways, I was excited when I got it in the mail. It's my first thing from the guild, except for that Plum Street that I had ordered. You know what? You know what? I'll just do this. It's not going to be super profesh today, I guess. So this is how far I got to. I am making some changes to my flosses. So literally what I've got done is that center flower. I'm just working on the green vine and leaves. That's how far I've got to, because that's all I had time for before I put it away. I did swap out the color that was called for it. 444. I think it called for endive. Yeah, Gentle Art Endive, which I have some, but the skein isn't full, and so I didn't want to deal with dye lot problems. So I just pulled something from my stash, and it's a Belle Soie called Weathered Vine. And it's like pretty much the same color. So that's what I've been stitching with. And then these are some of the other colors that are in the chart. So it was fun to stitch on, and I was grateful that I was able to get this design, because as I said, I don't know when or if it'll be released in the future. Like I said, if you really want this chart right now, check D-stash groups on Facebook, because a lot of times, sometimes people just don't want these charts, and so they pay for it and then they don't use it. I am stitching mine on 36 count linen Mad Hatter's Teacup by Dames of the Needle, and I started this on August 10th, which is the day technically after the stitch day. But I wasn't able to attend the stitch day like via Zoom because we were celebrating my son's birthday. So my kids are more important than cross stitch. So I was not able to attend via Zoom. I'm hoping next time I can, because it sounds like fun and I think I'd enjoy it. So that is Awaiting Autumn. Let's see, where should I put this? Okay. Hi, puppy. Yes. One of the things that I don't have with me, but I did make, was the Bluebird block. If I have a picture, I think I took a picture, not of the finished block, but like in progress. If I have that, then I'll put it in. It's a block from the Lori Holtby vintage quilt. I made it for a sampler quilt that a friend group is making for a friend who has cancer. And anyway, so I made that for her to show my love to her. So I worked on that. The other thing that I did, let's see, I have so many things. My dog is like wanting my attention. You know, she didn't want my attention until I turned the camera on, because isn't that how that works, right? Okay, so let's do these first. Okay, so I've talked about my Blessed Bee block of the month that I'm doing through a local quilt shop. It is a wool block of the wool applique quilt. So this will be the finished quilt. We have finished all 3 of these blocks and we got the 4th block. So I will show you block 3 finished because, wait, are we on block 5? No. Yeah, 3. So we finished the 3rd block. So I finished stitching mine. And I am aware that my vines are not even. Also, this is not pressed. I think it goes like this. Yeah. I will do a final pressing before I trim my background fabrics down. I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to do that until all of the blocks are done and I'm ready to like fully assemble the quilt. So this is block 3 that we got. Super cute, and I finished all the stitching. Last time I had just everything glued. I feel like then block 4 was this block here, and I have not stitched anything down on this yet. This is a wool applique quilt that is done on an Essex linen. Like the background fabric is an Essex linen. And so that's been fun to deal with in a good way. Like not fun, but like in a good way. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. So, so that is Blessed Bee. So I worked on that. And now I'm going to talk about my Jane Austen 250th anniversary quilt. Maybe, if I can find places to put things. So that looks like, I have everything housed in this book, this binder. So it looks like this. I am stitching all of my blocks will be stitched down by hand. I am using the Lori Holt method for applique. So this is what it looks like prior to my stitching it down. It is really pretty, in my opinion. This block is meant to be symmetrical, so I had to get it as symmetrical as I could. However, I'm not perfect and I'm human, so I'm not expecting it to be exactly correct because, you know, each one of these shapes is sewed on the sewing machine, turned, and then shaped with the Clover turning tool. So they're all kind of a little bit different. They're not exactly the same. I'm not a machine, right? So anyway, there are some slight differences, but for the most part, it's pretty darn even. I tried to use like little ruler. I have this. Where'd my little ruler go? Of course it's missing. Oh, here it is. I have this little Cute Cuts ruler. That's a Lori Holt ruler. This thing is like the end all be all ruler. I use this all the time for everything. It's amazing. So yeah, so here's my Chawton block. And I believe Chawton is the town that Jane Austen was born and lived in. I think. I could be totally remembering that fact wrong, so don't come after me if I'm incorrect. Okay, so let me pause for a second. Okay, had to let the dog out, and then she decided she wanted back in, and she actually wanted food. I don't know. So, okay. So this is a finish, but I still need to FFO it. You probably have seen this before if you watched my old channel with Jeanette. This is a buttermilk basin, because I don't think I've showed it on this channel before. It's a buttermilk basin pattern. Originally, it's meant to be wool on flannel applique, but the kit I got was a flannel on flannel applique that was a pre-fused situation. And everything was done on it. All the stitching was done. Everything was done except for the stupid buttons I need for the little pin cushion right here. So I finally found some buttons. And then lo and behold, at Hobby Lobby, I found more buttons. that are better, and I'm tempted. I like the colors better, and I'm tempted to rip them off, but I'll probably just keep them. But yeah, so this is where it's all done. So my original plan for this is to, I think I might finish it on a board and then like add some dangly keys or something like that to the side of the board to make it look kind of cool. I don't know. I already painted the board, so I mean, I could always paint it again if I change my mind and want to do something else, but we'll see. I need to I have sticky board and everything, and I need to figure out what, like if I want to have an extra piece of fabric like behind it so it has some interest, or if I want to add some kind of a rickrack trim or something. Like I don't know yet what I want to do with this, but I need to figure it out because early September is when I decorate for Halloween. So like all of my Harry Potter is going to be going away because that is going to be taken over by like Halloween things. So I need to figure it out because I need to be able to like put my Halloween things out, and I'd like to put this out this year, and it's pretty big. So I don't want to have to like reconfigure things after I'm done decorating, if that makes sense. So anyways, what's the matter, puppy? She's very needy today. Okay, so now I do have one finish, and I'll show that in a second. But remember how I was taking a break from the wordplay series by Brenda Gervais? Well, I've lost my mojo for Queen Bee Flower Farm. It's just gone right out the window. I think it's because it's too like springy and summery in color, and I'm not in that vibe anymore. This is my dog. Her name's Sylvie. If you've ever watched the show Loki, you know who Sylvie is. She's the one that causes the biggest mischief of all. And so does my dog. Hi. Okay, let me pause again. What else does she want? Okay. I don't know. So I have all of the colors for all of the charts on one ring. I finally made my ring bigger. It was a little cramped, and I have it in this bag by the Tattooed Stitcher. Isn't it so stinking cute? Oh, I love it. Okay, so I decided, this is a start. I decided to start September wordplay because we're almost in September. So if I was going to start it, it needed to be soon. And the problem is I started it, but then I was taken up with other things that I needed to get done to prepare for our school year and stuff. So I haven't had, once I started this, I didn't have a lot of time for stitching. This is what it looks like. It is stitched, the called for color is Abecedarian, which I just bought some of that from Shepherd's Bush when I was there in June. But I didn't want to use it for this. So I just pulled out all my 36 count and the floss, and me and my son, my oldest son, who's really good with colors, he's like, I think we should do this color, Mom. I think it looks better. I'm like, okay. So 36 count linen up in the attic by Fox and Rabbit, stitching one strand of floss over 2 linen threads. Let me move this down. So I started, wow, okay. I started in the center of the design. I'm kind of far away today. I don't know what's up with my table. I started in the center of the design, which was, I think 4 was the center. So I finished, and I went all the way over to where it wasn't gonna, like, I need to move my Q-snap. So, because, okay, it's September, almost. Like, we are a week out. This is upside down now. So I started the schoolhouse right here. Funny story is I was like, why is this yellow? And then it occurred to me, the little yellow schoolhouse. That Brenda, she knows. So this is what I'm stitching on. I'm hoping I can get it done like in a week. I don't know if I'll be able to get it fully finished in a week. And like I said before, my current, this is has dust on it because I don't care anymore. This is what I normally mount them on. Okay. Well, I'm glad that wasn't on video because literally my dog just knocked everything over. Because someone decided to get in their vehicle and drive away. Anyways, I'm hoping to finish this. I'm trying to find a good way to FFO these in terms of like a good like backboard type situation to swap them out every month. And I've kind of had this conundrum because I'm not pleased with how I was doing it before. Like this board it's boring and I don't like it. It was what I had at the time. I had no money at the time, so I literally made do with what I had, which is totally fine. It's just there are other things out there that I need to figure it out because I want to be okay. Let's collect thoughts, shall we? What I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to have some kind of a basket or something like that that has a lid maybe, but is able to store all of the months that are FFO'd on the boards, you know, and have them all be in one spot. So I don't have to store the individual months that aren't being displayed. Also, if you see right there, that's my neighbor. He has a tree that decided to just grow up in like where it's not supposed to be. So he's having to take it down. Yeah. We already helped him and cut down 2 of them because they were going to the eaves of his house. They're like, I don't know what they're called. I think they're elms, but they're like an invasive version of the plant. Anyways, I digress. So I need to figure out a plan for how to FFO these because I have, let's see, do I have March? I have March and April, right? Yeah, I have March and April totally finished. Like they're FO'd, right? They're finished, but they're not fully finished because I don't know how I want to fully finish them. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out, right? Okay, my last whip is Harry Potter. It's Frogwarts. Let me find this actual stitch. So this is Black Needle Society Frogwarts Year 1 band sampler. So it looks like this. Okay, I closed that because that's a little distracting. I'm seeing him in the viewfinder. So, anyway, I am stitching this on 36 count linen in the color Olympia by Mystic Fabrics. So that's the band sampler. And see, I don't have a board. My boards are being taken up with quilt pieces. Okay, let me get this figured out here. So this is where I'm at. It's folded because they go in bags. So basically what I did was, what did I finish? I finished Nimbus 2000, the broomstick. So I finished that, and I did even do the backstitched letters, but they're so small it's hard to tell what they are. And I started the key right here. I started the key. Let me see, what else did I do? I think I also did this jelly bean. Birdie Bott's every flavor bean. I think I did that too. And that's what I worked on. So I only worked on this for like 2 days. And by 2 days, I mean like 2 stitching sessions on 2 different days, right? So that basically means that I worked on it for a few hours. So that's all I had. That's all I had time for at the time. And it was Harry Potter's birthday. So on the 30th and the 31st of July, I decided to make some more progress on my Frogwarts year 1. Year 1 is the one I have the most progress on, which, you know, is fine because I have currently 6 of them going and I started late. So there are some people who have like finished all of them today, like they're done. And I'm like, wow, good for you. So that is all of my whips. I do have a finish, like a fully finish. So I think I will get that and then we will talk about that. Okay, so last time I saw you, this was in this bag. It has nothing to do with Christmas. I think I said that last time. I was working on this Satsuma Street 2 turtle doves. I think I had worked on it like a day in my last video. And I decided to just keep it on the snap and just finish it. So that is Turtle Doves by Satsuma Street. Super cute. And I just finished it with a tulip pink fabric on the back. Like, this is for me, so I'm not trying to do anything fussy. One thing I wish I had was a year charm for this year that I could put on it so I don't have to write anything. Because I don't want it to bleed through, you know what I mean? So anyway, so that is that one. So the next one is French hen. That one's funny because it's literally a hen with a beret and it's sitting in front of the Eiffel Tower. That's funny. So Jodie's funny with her puns on those. So that was a FFO. So that was a finish for this year. So that is all I have for whips. So now I am going to talk about Stitchy Kindness. I did get quite a bit of Stitchy Kindness this last month. One thing I actually got, and it was pushed over, so I didn't see it, but I got it for my birthday. But it was only just delivered to me in July. So it's a birthday gift. But I'll show that first. So this is from my friend Carolee. She is the sweetest lady ever. So it's patriotic lips. She knows I love patriotic things. And she loves doing beads and like all kinds of things. And she's like, you can handle this. So she bought this for me and she thought I might want to do it next year for the 250th. And I think she's right. I think I might do that because it has full instructions in here and it says it's for beginners. So I think I can handle it if I follow instructions. And I can always ask her, you know, like, hey, what do I do? But she also changed her Instagram name. So she used to be the Elementary Stitcher. She is now Factory Stitcher on Instagram. You should give her a follow because she does really cute things. And she has a cute puppy that she shares pictures of. And anyway, so there's that Stitchy Kindness. The other Stitchy Kindness, in the last video, now this person that sent this to me, she went above and beyond, in my opinion. So part of the Guild Stitch Day for Sampler Guild of the Rockies, an opportunity of doing an exchange, like a scissor fob exchange, where you stitch a motif from a Blackbird Designs chart. And so I showed what I made in the last video, and then I received my stuff from my partner. So who I sent stuff to isn't who I received from. So it was all like mixed around. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say her name on camera, but I'm gonna show what she sent me. She stitched this on 56 count, and it was her very first strawberry finish, and I thought she did a great job, and she made it specific for the guild, which I thought was kind of fun. And she sent me a bunch of things, so like I wasn't sure like how crazy to go, because it said in the instructions that it was that sending extras is fine, but it's not necessary at all. So I wasn't sure how hard to go on that, because normally when I do exchanges, I like to add a lot of extra things to go with it. But I didn't want to overwhelm somebody if they felt like they shouldn't do that. So I only sent a few things, but my partner sent me a lot of stuff. So this is the finish. Look at, isn't it cute? And she put it on a pair of scissors for me to use. And it says SGR on it for Sampler Guild of the Rockies and the year. So cute. She also had sent me a little dragonfly needle minder. And because she's so generous, she also sent me a fat 8, a 40 count, what is this? Weeks Dye Works Confederate Gray in the color like the 40 count, which I don't normally stitch on 40 count, but Weeks Dye Works is one of those fabrics that is looser, so the way it takes dye is looser. So if you're gonna try 40 count, then that would probably be a good one to go with. But she sent it to go with this, stitched by the Scarlet House, called Oh Dear, which I do not own. And she also included the floss. Like, how nice is that? I immediately sent her a thank you card, because I was like, holy cow, that was so nice. You know, like I don't want to use it. Like I want to just like display it. It's like, look how pretty it is. It's so nice that she shared her very first finish like that with me. I feel so honored, you know, because it takes guts to do that. So that is my Sampler Guild of the Rockies exchange. That was some stitchy kindness. And the last piece of stitchy kindness was for my friend Michelle. She is always finding deals. She's always hunting deals. And she found somebody who had some older Blackbird design fabrics. So she's like, hey, do you want some? And I was like, sure. And she wouldn't let me pay her for them. Like a silly goose. So she gave me those, and then she also picked up this book for me, Summer Weekend, which is a book that I want to make things out of. I know this book is out of print. I think she found it on the D-Stash website. But it has all these amazing things in it. It has different pin cushions and things. So, let's see. That one, so pretty. It's interesting how they did their quilting on their older quilts. I feel like some of these motifs, they look like older like Blackbird design charts that might have been put in books. There's like a Maggie Bonomi one, because Maggie Bonomi used to do cross-stitch design with Blackbird designs. So that's why her name is on them. But she had a specific style, just like Alma has her style and Barb had her style, right? So, yeah, but is it on like Let Freedom Ring? It's that booklet that was re-released, and it has the main circle stitch on the front, but there's also another stitch that has like a flag like that. So I'm wondering if it's based off that. I don't know. But yeah, so thanks, Michelle. This is a lovely surprise. Now I'm gonna talk about some haul that I got. Not too much, which is, you know, surprising, I know. But last year, as you know, I love Lori Holt things. I love Lori Holt quilts. I love her notions. I love listening to her talk on YouTube when she does her videos. She's just an inspirational person to me. I hope to meet her sometime in the future. Tick that off the list, you know. Anyways, last year she released a fabric line called Hometown Holiday, which is a Christmas holiday type line. And she released a quilt box kit that it was called Decorating the Tree, which I own. I have that and I want to make it. Maybe this year will be the year. I need more Christmas quilts. Anyways, so she's so clever with the way she does things, and I think because she is Lori Holt and she has such a huge draw for most people, that she kind of can make her, what Riley Blake kind of allows her to make more things that maybe a smaller designer with a less following would be allowed to make. And an example of that is the box that came in, that the Decorating the Tree kit came in. It doubles as an ornament box. So like those old-timey boxes that have dividers for, like, you know, think Shiny Bright, okay? Where it has like the individual dividers, right, for each ornament. And then you have like those old-timey like blown glass type ornaments. Okay, last year was the first one, and it was a red sewing machine, which I had to have immediately. I pre-ordered mine so fast. I just was like, I must have it. I must have it. You can still get it online. So if you are new to the game and you didn't know about it, you can still get the ornaments. The boxed kit, on the other hand, is more difficult to get. Those are a one-time run. They don't make more of them. So you would have to find somebody who happened to have the kit that didn't want it, or like a D-stash type deal, or a shop that it doesn't have online presence and you happen to stumble across it someday. Like the kit's sold out and it's a sought after item. So I apologize in advance for telling you about that if you're trying to find it, but I'm sure there's some of you out there, sorry for the crinkles, that can sleuth and find something, right? But the ornament, so the first ornament was a red sewing machine, like a vintage sewing machine. And I thought that was so cute because, well, it is. And these are made by an Old World blown glass. It's made in the US. This is this year's. It's yarn. It's a basket of yarn. Isn't it so freaking cute? It's adorable. It's freaking adorable. I love it. I don't do yarn, okay? I do yarn for craft projects. That's what I usually use yarn for, or to like use it for finishing. That's the only reason I usually have yarn, is to make something else that has nothing to do with crochet or knitting. I can't do knitting. I've tried. People have tried to teach me. That's the one needle that I don't get along with, is knitting needles and crochet hooks. Okay, so it comes in this box. It's just a standard box that, like a Hallmark ornament, like the same feel, cardboard box. I don't remember what it cost, but it doesn't cost any more than like a Hallmark ornament. So like people think like it's all about branding, right? So people think like, oh, it's so expensive. But if you go to Hallmark or like someplace like that, or Disneyland, or someplace that sells ornaments, I'm not talking about Hobby Lobby because that's different, but like I'm talking about places that are like niche, right? Where they have their own brand, or it's their own. They cost a lot. They're not cheap, okay? This is that kind of a deal. It's also the collectability factor, that if you are wanting to have these ornaments, you want them, right? So I had to have it. I was just like, well, I'm pre-ordering that. It's a thing. So that is the ornament for 2025 by Lori Holtz. Super cute. I got mine at Happy Little Stitch Shop. So if I remember correctly, last time I checked, which was like a week or two ago, they still had the first ornament from last year, and they had ornaments from this year. So if you're new to the game, or you're deciding, yeah, I really want that, I would recommend getting them, because I have a feeling that once they go away, like they're sold out, I don't think they're gonna make more. However, Lori Holt has her own pull with how she is allowed to produce product. So sometimes things get reproduced for her line. So I don't know for sure, but I would err on the side of caution. If you really want it and you want to have this on your tree, I would get it sooner than later, before people start thinking about Christmas. You know what I mean? And thinking about their trees. I hope that makes sense. To me, it's worth it. So, yeah. Okay, so I got my July Belle Soie. The August one I know already shipped, and it's still sitting at Jeanette's house because I haven't picked it up. These are the July Belle Soie silks of the month. They're blues. Super pretty. So Chester's blue. Midnight, which I already have this color. This is a new color for this year. And petticoat blue. Super pretty. And I've already started to use the colors that I've got in, and I have a ring. That was one of the things I did, was I organized all my floss. That took a few hours. And that was obviously the floss that was just in my stash, like not being used in a project. And so I separated it out by type. And then if I had individual DMC skeins, then I organized them in a different way. But almost everything went on a ring, and they're by alphabet. So these will go on that after we're done here. The other thing I got, which was super cute, I feel like there was something else that I bought from them. I don't know why I got this. I thought it was so stinking cute. This was a PDF download, Stitching with the Housewives, The Ghost. It's part of their Sassy Stripper series. They're so funny with their names. But I thought that was really cute, just like a little small. Because it's like, yeah, it's 29 by 62 stitch count. So it's not big. It uses quite a few colors though. So that's the one thing that kind of is not super awesome, but it's fine. It's all the colors she normally uses. So if you already have like a Priscilla ring, then you should be golden. My Needle Minder of the Month Club came also. And so this is for August. Okay, super cute. You have to like cats and you have to like pink. So this is the design for August. This is by Flamingo Toes. It comes in this box like I showed last month. And it's already frou-froued because I messed with it when I was looking at it when it came. But this month's is a cute little cat. on books. And it's called Booked for a Nap. It comes with a cross stitch design, and this is the embroidery. And then it also has all the DMC colors for you to make the design. I like the color palette. It's really pretty. See that? And then the needle minder is flippin' adorable. Super cute. And I'm excited because now I can use it. Now I can use this because I showed you guys. That's one thing about doing floss tubes is like you buy things, but you don't always get to just use them because you have to show them in a video. I mean, you don't have to, but I would forget if I started using it, you know? And then the big purchase that I did for this last month was a Blackbird Designs quilt kit. It's Wild Orchid. The actual quilt is called the Raven. So this is the box kit. This is from the 50th anniversary re-release of this line. It originally came out in 2020, I believe, but it didn't do very well because of obvious reasons, which we will not get into. A lot of, just from experience, a lot of people were affected by the pandemic financially, so they had to cancel orders. And so what that did was that created almost like it halted the amount of product that was put out, if that makes sense. So this particular line, it was a subject of that problem, okay? This quilt book was out, and then I don't know if it was retired, like out of print, and then they brought it back for this. I don't recall. I don't know if you can get this individually. But I do know that trying to find this kit again, you can't find it. So if you didn't pre-order it, it's harder to find. I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could look around. I got it from a local shop near to me called JK Quilts, but they didn't get the full line, I don't believe. They just got some of the kits and like, I think a bolt or two. But this is inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. That's what this whole quilt is inspired by. So each block is from lines of the poem. Oh, it's so lovely. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's so good. Now, I just recently finished the top of Midnight Silhouette, right? That one is done where it was like pre-fused laser cut kit, okay? This kit, I'm going to do it because they give you instructions to do it like needle turn applique. So I am not going to do that. I'm going to do it the way that I am most comfortable doing applique, and that is with sew and interfacing. So like the Chawton block that I showed you earlier, how Lori Holt quilts are mostly done, well, actually almost always are done that way. So that is my preferred applique method. So that's how I am going to do this quilt when it's time. I've already located some template plastic so I can create my own templates. And then I need to get some, what is that called? Like, there's like a foundation paper piecing paper that you can print on, and I need to get that for this, which is the border right there. So I don't think it's going to be started this year, just for knowing myself. But look at that, you guys. I'm not taking it out of the plastic, but the colors, it's so pretty. And this line only has a few of the colors and a few of the prints, right? The whole line itself is just gorgeous. If you like Blackbird fabrics, I would recommend getting some of it because I doubt it will be reprinted. This is a reprint of a line, which almost never happens. So just keep that in mind. But who has it? The last time I checked, Happy Little Stitch Shop had it. I know other stores online have it. So if you're looking for it, just search for Wild Orchid Blackbird Designs fabric line. Search that, and then you'll find either stores that have yardage, or they have pre-cuts, or they have some kind of a bundle. They might have kits, because this was a boxed kit by Moda. So if for some reason, like, there are some shops that kit their own things, even if it's a boxed kit. So they just take their requirements out of the pattern, and then they make their own kits from their shop for their shops. So you might be able to find this version. It might be named under the Raven, but it's using Wild Orchid by Blackbird Designs. And I am so grateful I have this because it's gorgeous. It's absolutely lovely. Okay, so before I do book talk and plans, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing to my house. So I homeschool. If you're new here, I homeschool my boys. So we don't have a huge house. Like, clearly I am sewing in the living room. Like, my sewing space is in a living room. Okay, I think our house is like 1,500 square feet or something. Like, it's not big. And there's 5 of us living here with a dog. So, and we school from home and we both work from home. So it's very cozy. Let's just say that. I don't want a bigger house because I don't want to clean a bigger house. And I also know that eventually my children are going to go off and live their own life. And then I'm going to be stuck in this giant house that I don't want. So, I don't want to do that. I'd rather have a smaller house, be able to see my boys all the time. We're always together, and that's what I want. And I know that that's what my boys want too. So even if they're like, can't I have my own room? Like, they don't really want that because they're always like, my oldest has his own room because he's older, but like, they're always in each other's rooms. So anyway, I digress. So our dining room area is also our schooling area. It is also where, like, my dining room table, as I've mentioned before, is where I cut out quilts. So it's part of my sewing space. It's a our living room, dining room area is a multifunctional area. So it plays a lot of roles, if that makes sense. So we spend a lot of time in this space. Now, if you can see the walls behind me, that taupe, whatever color it is, my entire house, when we bought the house, was painted that color. The only rooms that have been painted so far are my son's bedrooms and my bathroom. And one wall where my quilts are hung up, which I've shown a picture of that space before. And if you watch my old videos, you will have seen the blue behind. But the space where we have our living room, it's open concept. And I'm going to just say that I'm not a fan of open concept. I'd rather have a closed concept house for there to be individual walls and wall space. Because you can hang out more cross stitch. You know what I mean? So for our homeschool, we're changing almost everything in our homeschool. Like, we're changing how, like, some of the curriculums we're using. We're changing the style we're doing. We're doing lots of updating and changing that will better suit our family and will make it more cohesive and easier for me to teach and for them to learn. So the other thing is that I've been sort of making do with what we have. you know, and that's fine. Like, this is not like an advertisement to just like go redo everything. Like, that's not the stuff I have over here. Like, almost everything in my house is secondhand. Like, the desk that I'm sewing on is the only thing probably, and maybe this bookcase, I purchased new. Everything else has been, also, if you hear the noises, that's my neighbor. So I apologize. Everything is secondhand or, you know, like on a sale kind of a thing. Like, you know, we're a family with young kids, you know? And so, like, our schooling space it wasn't very inspiring. And our corkboard area was not functional. And so a lot of changes needed to happen. So I decided that I wanted to change it. And my husband was 1,000% on board, because once I said I wanted to change it, he goes, "Oh, I'm glad, because like it's stale." And I'm like, yes. Like, he put words to what I was thinking, but I couldn't figure out what it was, you know, that I didn't like. So he's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, why don't we paint it and like find like a different cork board, but I don't want cork." So we found these really cool recycled plastic felt things. I don't know. It's using recycled materials. And it was this really pretty green color, very similar to this green. And so I'll put some pictures in now of like what it looked like before. And it's still, my dog keeps walking and messing with everything. But I didn't want the whatever, like the cork board, to stand out. I wanted it to sort of blend into the wall. So I asked my husband what he thought about painting the wall the color of the tiles. And he was on board with that, which is cool, because I wanted it to feel rich and like cozy and I don't know. I just wanted, I know I've heard that the people who were all about like millennial gray, like back in the day, like they've changed to this green color. And I'm thinking to myself, that's probably because they've realized that doing millennial gray all the time is boring. And if you still like millennial gray and you're interested in that whole like minimalist thing, clearly I'm not that person. And I've never been that person. So when I said I didn't want gray, my husband was very excited, because he didn't want gray either. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and paint. We painted, and we also, in one of the pictures, you'll see that there's a soffit, and that's where we keep a lot of our Harry Potter Lego. So we have like a scene, or whatever you call it, like with our castle, and we have the Durmstrang ship, and you know, like different sets that have been built. And then, so that is, you can see that from everywhere in our house. But anyway, we decided to just invest a little bit of money into our home and update the space for us in the taste that we enjoy. So we're very pleased. We're going to be using a lot of things that we already had still. So it's not like we're just getting everything new, because that's just not realistic. But we are changing the things that we don't need. I'm going to have a kindergartner this year. So I still need things that are like introductory, like alphabets and numbers and that sort of thing. But I also have my oldest, who is going to be in 7th grade. So I'm going from kindergarten to 7th grade. So I have this space that I'm having to accommodate for all of those age ranges and learnings. So I decided to go with a different palette altogether that I enjoyed. My husband made a shelf for me, so I could, you know, just put things on and decorate the space, because I want it to feel exciting for me too, because I'm still the one, Like when you go into teacher rooms in public schools, they decorate their classrooms. Like they invest in their classroom to make it not sterile because it creates a more inviting space for the kid to go in and learn, right? I'm doing that in our home, just obviously on a smaller scale because it's just a smaller space. So that's what my time has been taken up with too, because I've been having to deal with that. We've also had some dentist appointments. I've been doing like some of the chores that normally happen in, excuse me, in our summertime. So I cleaned out like the school cart. I cleaned out our closet that has school supplies and like games and things like that. So like I cleaned and organized that. I went through our bookshelf, which is like a family bookshelf that has, you know, majority kid books on it. And I cleaned that off because we had a lot of baby books still on there that the kids don't touch. And so they're just sitting there. And like, so I gave them the opportunity to look through them and are there any that they wanted to keep, kind of a thing. And then they went back on the shelf. But I'm getting rid of things. And then I also have to go and help my younger two clean their room. And what I mean by that is like I have to fully purge and clean their room. So like any trash, broken toys, you know how it is. So I had to do that. So that's one of the things I did this week. I did that. I did the bookshelves. I did the school cart. I did the classroom, or like the closet that holds our classroom things. So this week was a lot of organizational things and dentist appointments. Super fun, you know? So I didn't really do a lot of stitching or anything like that. I'm also organizing a different collection of mine. I do collect American Girl dolls as an adult. I had one as a kid, and then as an adult I was collecting collections that from the historical line and such. But I am organizing them, the collections, and cataloging them so I can see what I have, what I paid for them, because I kept all that stuff. So I can like see if I need to insure it because I have a lot. But it's all in the closet right now. So I'm going, you know, piece by piece and just putting it on a spreadsheet kind of a thing, and just so I can see visually what I have, you know. If there's anything that I don't want anymore, I'm going through my own closet. My husband and I, we have a walk-in closet. It's like a small room. So I can go in there and just kind of see what I have. Cause like I also, like I said, I organized my floss. I was organizing charts. I organized things that just need to be organized, right? So that's kind of what I've been up to life-wise, like, cause it's my summer break, as you would say. So I've been trying to get through those chores. I also organized our laundry room. I did that. That's a once a year chore that has to get done, just because there are 5 people living here and things kind of just get thrown on the counter that's in there, like a catch-all. So I have to go through and purge it and clean it and get rid of stuff that doesn't need to be there and put it where it actually goes. You know how that is. So it's like the proverbial junk drawer, right? We all have one of those. So that's kind of what I've been up to lately. I obviously have done quite a bit of stitching. I've done finishes. I've, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the last like week and a half has been cleaning and purging and organizing. So yeah, but let's talk plans. I've mentioned before that I wanted to like have a spooky stitch. I feel like everybody in the community is really wanting to start working on spooky stitching, and I think it's because it's the end of August, and so we're all in that mindset that we are wanting to, our minds are switching over to fall, right? And so, I know I am. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm not wanting to stitch on Queen Bee Flower Farm. So as much as I wanted to finish that this year, it would bring me no joy to finish it right now. Like, I wouldn't want to. Hi, puppy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on September wordplay to try and see if I can't finish that before September, because, you know, why not? And maybe start October wordplay. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Because I also know myself. After I get partway through October, my brain switches from fall and goes to Christmas. And then I want to only stitch on Christmas things. So I have a very small window of time where I'm in the mood to stitch on things that have that fall Halloween feel. Even though sometimes I just get a wild hair and I just want to work on Halloween. That happens. But like majority of the time, I have a puppy who is... She just wants my attention today. Normally she's like ignoring me. Normally this time of day she takes a nap. Anyways, because it's September almost, I'm wanting to get in that mode of stitching on fall things and Halloween things. My house is about to look like Halloween threw up. So I know once that happens, my brain is going to be Halloween, fall. Like, that's all I'm going to want to stitch on. So I have to finish September's wordplay before September. Or it's not getting done this year. That's just how that is. So in my last video, I think, I was talking to you guys about potential plans, right? And this is my Sleepy Hollow by the Cricut Collection. This was a restart that I did, and I changed the fabric, and I'm stitching it on Almost Rain by Dames of the Needle. Oh my word in heaven. It's so big. It's like an entire width of fabric. Yeah. So that's the center of the chart right there. You can see it's kind of ghosty, but that's because it's an outline. So you'll see it once you see the actual stitching. But I want to work on this more because this has only had 2 hours of stitching or something like that. On my last video, I mentioned I wanted to start working on it again for the fall and maybe do a stitch along. So I thought that not everybody is interested in stitching on Sleepy Hollow, like the subject of Sleepy Hollow Headless Horseman situation. And so I wanted to be more inclusive and just kind of have it be like a spooky type style. So I think, but I still want the essence of Sleepy Hollow to be at the core of it, right? So I'm going to use hashtag Spooky Hollow Sal. It won't focus. It's focusing on me. Spooky Hollow Sal. I'll put it on the screen. And if you could tag me in your post so that I know that you're working on it and what you're deciding to use for your stitch along. I thought, because it's only, let's see, it's the 23rd of August. By the time this video goes up, it'll already be probably like the 25th of August or so, something like that, because I still have to edit it and all that business. So I want to give you enough time to actually figure out what you're going to stitch, or if you're going to use something from, because Finally a Farm Girl, she has a Sleepy Hollow stitch that is coming out at Marketplace, which is happening today and tomorrow and Monday or something. This dog, man. Anyways, so that way it gives you time to get the stuff that you might have pre-ordered or whatever. So it could be any Halloween stitch. If you don't stitch Halloween, it could be fall. Like, I'm not picky. I just want people to start things or work on projects that they've had in their WIP pile that they really want to finish, or get more progress on. And I would love to have that be something that we do together. So if you wouldn't mind letting me know that you are going to be doing it by using the hashtag. I know the hashtags don't work the same as they used to. So I will need, if you could also tag me in your post so I know that you are working on something that's spooky, right? Or Halloween. So, like I said, I'm going to be working on my Sleepy Hollow. I may or may not add a stitch to that. I don't know. What I don't know for sure if there's going to be other things, because for me, it's going to be like a month and a half worth of Halloween stitching that I know I'm going to get tired of working on things unless I just get a wild hair and that's all I want to work on. So if I end up changing what I'm working on, I'm still going to use the same hashtag. But the whole point is just to like get some more spooky smalls for your double, or, you know, if you want to just work on a whip that you've had for a while. Like, I know I have quite a few Halloween whips. Let's see. Let's look at I have them written down. I haven't been very good at, actually I don't. Huh. I only have 4 Halloween stitches. That's because I finished those. Those ones I actually finish. That's why I don't have a lot of whips. So I might work on Halloween Delivery, which is a stitch along that I did with my friend group. So I might work on that too to get more progress, because I literally have like 15 stitches in it. It was a start. So we'll see. But the whole point is to work on something that is fall, Halloween, or a Sleepy Hollow specific piece. It doesn't have to be Sleepy Hollow specific. Say that 5 times fast. But just tag me to let me know, and use Spooky Hollow Sal as your hashtag. And yeah, so hopefully you guys will join me. Okay, so that's pretty much my plans. Is to, I have one stitch I need to work on for a friend, but mostly I have excuse me, I have pretty much everything. Like, I've talked about cross stitch and all that, like the plans for that. So now I'm going to talk about, I have a little thing in my throat. I'm going to talk about books. I purchased a few books. I'm currently still reading Emma by Jane Austen. This book, I feel like all Jane Austen books kind of start out slow. Like, they all kind of have like that getting to know, lots of words type of beginning, right? So this one I felt was like that too. And one thing I didn't realize about this when I first started reading this book is that the film adaptations, there's quite a few of them. Did you know that Clueless, like the Alicia Silverstone Clueless movie, is loosely based off the book Emma? Yeah, I didn't know that either. I didn't know that. So now, while I'm reading the book, I am halfway. While I'm reading the book, I'm like, oh yeah, this character is Ty. This character is Cher. This character is so, and so I'm seeing them, the actors who played the role in the movie Clueless, as the characters in the book. It's annoying and yet amazing at the same time. So far, I'm really liking it. It's very Jane Austen. The main character, which is obviously Emma, she's very, very self-centered. Very interesting book. But so yeah, I want to finish that, and then I'll have to be on figure out what my next Jane Austen book is going to be, which I don't own the next one. I still need to decide. There's Mansfield Park that I don't own. Mansfield Park, Northanger Abbey, Sanditon, Miss Susan. I think those are the ones I'm missing. And so I need to decide which one I'm going to read next, kind of a thing. The other books that I purchased, this one I purchased used. It's called 12 Extraordinary Women by John MacArthur. And this man, he just passed away. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but I thought it would be interesting to read about some women in the Bible, to have more in-depth kind of a thing. And then a totally different subject that I bought these at Walmart. They're A Nightmare Before Christmas. It's like what happens after they fall in love, right? Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. This one is by Shea Earnshaw. It has these pages, like the edge pages, painted ones. So it looks like Sally. I don't know if I'll ever read these, but I just think they're so pretty and cute. And I thought that they would be a good decoration. I don't know. I might read them. I don't know. We'll see. I have plenty of other books that are in my TBR that I want to read probably before these. And then the sequel that just came out is called The Hour of the Pumpkin Queen. And it's written by a different person, Megan Shepherd. And it has a different sprayed edge. So I got these at Walmart. I thought they were cool. So I don't know. I like to get, I have some other Disney books like this. Like I have one that's about the evil queen from Snow White. I bought it at Disneyland like a long time ago. Anyways, so those are the books that I bought recently. And I'm currently reading Jane Austen, Emma. So if you read books and you've stuck around this long, what are you currently reading? I'm interested to know. And if you guys have any questions about anything that I talked about today, or if you are interested in, learning or needing help trying to find something or whatever, let me know and I can see what I can do to help. And I think that's all. So thanks for watching this long, and I will talk to you guys again at the next video. Again, I don't know when that's going to be, but hopefully within the month. So I will talk to you guys soon. See you guys later. Bye.